All right, we're talking with Mitchell Rose from Columbus, Ohio. He did a short film called Globetrot that's premiered at our June 2014 Film Festival. How's it going, Mitchell?
It's going really well. Thanks for having me today.
Oh, it's our pleasure. This is one of the more unique films that we showcase at a festival. It's the first film that we played at our monthly festival. And tell us, what was your reaction to the feedback from the audience, the Canadian Toronto audience, I guess? What was your kind of...
Well, I thought it was pretty interesting because a few people kind of didn't know what to make of it. I like it, but what's the meaning?
Yeah.
You know, is it? I imagine most of the films are just playing in a festival, as in any normal film festival, are narrative based, and so people are waiting to go like, this is about something. But Globetrot is a piece of art. It's a dance on film. There's no other meaning besides the message itself, the medium itself. When watching the feedback, I was reminded of an anecdote of the composer Robert Schumann, who, when was playing one of his new compositions on the piano in a salon setting, at the end, one of the audience members said, "That's lovely, but what does it mean?" At which point, Schumann sat down and played it again. You know, it is what it is. So
Yeah.
There need be no confusion. You watch, and that's it right there.
And people get whatever and obviously that's what the feedback comes from. People get whatever they want from it. Like they talked about in the feedback, like connection between cultures, connection. Like they're using like the use of dance and music as like
Right.
interpretation. Also, like someone pointed out, like how they're not professional dancers as well, right?
Yeah. I was happy that somebody singled that out, because that was one of the things that meant a lot to me in the project was using non-dancers. I really wanted this to be a dance of the everyman, so that it doesn't just seem like, hey, look, there's professional dancers out there dancing in front of the small.
Yeah.
It's more like the people of the world have risen up and are doing something together, the common man. So I'm glad that somebody pointed that out. One of the premises of the film for me was that anybody can learn 2 seconds of even sophisticated dance if you take the time to teach them and work with them. 3 seconds may be pushing it. That may be really hard. But 2 seconds, if you spend 10 minutes working with anybody, you should be able to get them to perform 2 seconds of even complicated choreography. So that's what happened in this thing. Is all the filmmakers around the world were given an assignment. Like, for example, somebody would be sent the assignment 4.2, meaning you're going to shoot measure 4 counts 2, 3, 4, and 5. Just learn those. Just teach those. Get someone to do those 4 counts well, and then we'll put it all together. And it's like Catherine Zeta-Jones in Chicago. She can't dance, but if you have half-second clips of her doing great stuff, put it together, it looks like she can dance.
It's so funny that you just said that, because I actually worked on that film. So
Get out of here.
yeah, well, it was filmed in Toronto. So yeah, it was just funny that it was so funny that you said that, because I'm the one who pointed out, and you corrected me in the email exchange that we had, that I just assumed that you just did all the dancing, and then basically your editor or you basically just kind of figured out where to kind of piece it together. But I was wrong on that.
Yeah, that would be pretty impossible.
Yeah.
Because it was critical that people be at the exact right place in the frame. So along with their assignment, like let's say you had measure 4 counts 2, 3, 4, 5, you'd have a spreadsheet, and you look at the spreadsheet and say, all right, so for those counts, the person should be at the frame is divided into nine ticks. So you would say for those 4 counts, the person should be should hit marks 5, 6, and 7. Something. So
Yeah.
They have to be in the exact right place in the frame to get the thing to edit together. So had people done the entire dance, that never would have happened.
So I think we covered the why aspect. So how did you do this? Like how long did it take? Like I know I'm asking a lot of questions here, but
Yeah.
like how did you get this done? And basically with all the filmmakers and your choreographer and basically did you have like planned out? I'm asking you like a ton of questions here, but did you have a specific plan of where you wanted each shot in each city located, or did you leave it up to the director? I'll just leave it to you. Can throw it to you right now to answer some of those questions.
Well, if people wanted to to my website, mitchellrose.com,
Okay.
and there's a link there for Globetrot, and you can see the manual that filmmakers read that instructed them as to how to do this. So the overall process was choreograph the dance, and my colleague here at Ohio State University, B.B. Miller, choreographed the dance, and then break it down count by count. Where is there going to be in each count and one of those 9 ticks in the frame? I had this big manual written that explained everything. How do you find the locations? Like what kind of location to shoot in? Because your shot's only going to be on screen for a second, and so you want people to get a sense of, ooh, that's Australia. Ooh, that's subliminally. So instructions on how to do that, how to find a good location, instructions on what kind of person to find on the street to be in this thing, and then how to frame the shot. How to learn your choreography, how to once you've shot it, how to export it and send the footage back to me. So this extensive manual was made. Then I had to find the people.
Yeah.
So that took months of contacting dance film festival curators around the world that I was familiar with, asking them if they would post something about it on their website, and also just using social media. And so eventually I was able to find 54 people around the world representing all 7 continents, including Antarctica.
I was gonna say I don't remember seeing Antarctica because I've seen the movie 3 times too. So
yeah. It's a shot of a guy with a woolen cap on, and it's in a snowy environment with these 3 big structures behind him, which you might just think is, oh, that's Vermont.
Yeah.
In fact, it's Antarctica. And when the guy first shot the footage, it was eternal night there, and so he went out there with a couple of snowcats and just shot this guy in a parka under some headlights. And I thought that was very cool, but it was kind of grainy, being that how dark it was. So I said, when does the sun crack the horizon? And he said, September 22nd. And I said, all right, would you mind going back out there and reshooting it once the sun comes up? So he did that, and I was shocked to see that it just looks like hotels back there. I always thought that a Antarctica research facility would be like in The Thing, a Quonset hut, out there. But these are giant hotels, so it looks a little less Antarctic-y than the original Snowcat one, but it's a much cleaner shot photographically. So I had to go.
It is funny that how our perception of certain cities and our continents for this example is like in our minds, and then so we assume something about Antarctica, even though most of us have never been there, of what Antarctica looks like. Even though how would we know that because we never see it, right?
Yeah, I always just thought tundra, and it'd just be a tundra, and then some little Quonset hut there with people freezing to death inside. But it looks pretty comfy.
Was it?
Although in the first take, in the first round, when they did it out with the snowcats, I could hear it, the performer saying, "Come on, let's do this. It's really cold," because it was something like 50 below.
Yeah. Oh, I can imagine. So, was there ever was there some examples of there were more than filmmakers, but the scene just didn't work out? Like, I'm assuming that you're giving a lot of freedom here to these people to execute the scene, right?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that all of them worked out.
Most of them don't work out.
Yeah.
People are too close. People are too far.
Yeah.
People are in the wrong place in the frame. People are just doing the choreography wrong, or it's just boring.
Yeah.
That somebody would just do it in front of the woods. Well, or on the beach, and I'd have to write to people who did woods and beach and said, this could really be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
A beach is a beach, woods are woods. So I got 561 shots altogether sent to me, and I only used 111.
Yeah, it makes sense to me because also too, it's all about what makes your film work is that there's depth of field in your shots, because it could have easily been a green screen. And that's what you're thinking as the audience first 20 seconds or so, and then the depth of field is coming in with the people. Then you're like, no, this is what makes the film, right?
Right. Yeah, I specified please don't use DSLRs. I want there to be a broad depth of field so that people can see the background. The background is almost as important as the performer, so we want to be able to read the whole thing in a half a second.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it really works, and it's like. it's cool. There's like it's like I said, like I think people are. I think that what you're trying to say, just to finish off what you were saying at the beginning, is that I think there's so many meanings in this video, so people are looking for just one, I guess. Or really, there's a lot that you can take from this video. It's about connection, I guess, right? That's the theme of our festival.
Overall, I mean, what I want people to get from it is feeling of world unity.
Yeah.
That here's the people of the world all working on something together. And I found that there's a psychological effect that happens in this process that I call hyper match cutting, where everything takes place of exactly where the previous shot was. All adjacent shots are perfectly lined up. And I find that there's a psychological effect in that of equalization, that when you're watching something and all of a sudden, bam, we go to a different place, but someone's in the exact same place doing the exact same thing, it says in your mind these things are equal. If he's picking up where the other person left off, then these things are equal. And so that makes the overall message of Globetrot for me being that the people of the world are equal, as we see them all working on one thing together.
Yeah, and kudos to you. Like, congratulations for doing this film and for your choreographer as well. For you guys, like, I guess there's other things in football going on at Ohio State. So, other than kudos for that. And so, what's next for you?
In pre-production in another film, which is going to be like a time-lapse kind of film. A lot of my films these days are dance films because that's what I teach here at Ohio State is dance filmmaking. And I also have an idea possibly for a Globetrot sequel that would be like a flip book, where rather than assign phrases of choreography to people, I'll choreograph the dance. I will break it down frame by frame, put every frame up on the internet. Let someone sign up to, if someone wants to do this thing, they sign up, they're given a picture. Here's a picture of one frame of someone dancing. Now you make a photograph that's the exact same thing. Make sure the person is in the exact same place, in position and the place in the frame. And then they'll send me back their photograph and I put it together and it just becomes a stop motion animation. So we just see, and we see the dance going, but you'll never get to be able to read what the background is. You'll just hopefully get a sense of the choreographic thread.
Wow. Okay. So this is sort of your theme. This is what you're trying. You're trying to like formulate like dance in the rest, like using the internet and using this kind of social world that we live in now as a kind of interconnection using dance, I guess.
It's a wonderful tool. Those things are wonderful tools for being able to get people to work together. I've always been fascinated by the idea of getting people to do sophisticated things, complicated things remotely. Besides being a filmmaker, I also have a show that I do called The Mitch Show, which is a show where it's half my films and half audience participation pieces. And so I love to get the audience to come up and get them to do complicated things. Like I have one piece called Pod People, where 5 people come up, I give them each an iPod. There's 10 minutes of synchronized instructions on it. So they start them in unison, and then it tells them where to go, what to do, and what to say. And they realize a whole almost play. And the instructions come fast and furious. There's never a second where they're not being told what to do. And they have no idea how they're fitting into the whole. But they're just following their instructions, and only the audience sees the whole. So I love this. I love being able to push the envelope of getting people to do complicated things. I liken it to that trope that you always hear of, if the pilot of a 747 died, could you land a plane if the control tower talked you down on the radio? You know, I think that's a fascinating idea.
And you're sort of using that as an analogy for dancing? Like,
well, I mean, that's what I'm doing with my filmmakers.
Yeah.
Having them people all over the world participate in a very specific process that only becomes anything when it's all fit together. So they don't have a sense of the whole. They're just doing their part, but then it all works together.
Well, Mitchell, you're definitely onto something. Like I joked with you, we were talking before the podcast. There's obviously other things going on besides football at Ohio State, and it seems like you're the one that, if I'm going to that school, I should be taking your class.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell my chair of my department that you said that.
Yeah. You can also come up. You can also come with a suggestion that you get the football players to take your class so they would do dances when they could score a touchdown, right?
Well, there are dance classes that they could take. So
yeah.
my class is filmmaking, so
Oh, sorry. I was just throwing it out there, like just to get. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's true. I worked in Toronto a number of times because before I was a filmmaker, I used to be a choreographer, and I've set a number of pieces on Toronto dance makers.
Well, yeah, obviously you're on like well, it was yeah. So I guess don't be a stranger, and if you want, give me in the mix of what your next film coming out. I'll help you out with it. And I guarantee you, I'll give you depth of field, and I'll give you what you're looking for. How's that?
Well, thanks.
It was our pleasure, it was our honor to show your film at our festival because the audience really kind of was taken into it, and you kind of set the tone to our festival. So thank you for that.
Well, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was really tickled by the idea of a festival that gives you feedback like that, and so that's why I wanted to do it. Was to be like what people's thoughts. So I really enjoyed watching the feedback video.
All right, talk soon.